Hello, nice to have you join us on the news at 5, reaching you live from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Dominic Iwiwu with the stories and reports we're tracking at the moment. We start off in Rivers State, where a state high court sitting in Oyigbo has ordered a temporary halt to the impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Mma-Odu. Delivering the ruling in Port Harcourt, the court issued an interim injunction restraining the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amewele, and 32 other defendants from taking any further steps to advance the impeachment process. The order also bars the Chief Judge of Rivers State, Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi, from receiving or acting on any impeachment-related request or resolution from the Assembly aimed at setting up an investigative panel. The injunction is to remain in force for 7 days. Justice Florence Fibre-Sima granted the order after hearing separate ex-parte applications filed by the governor and his deputy. The court approved substituted service of the court's papers on the first to the 31st defendants by pasting them at the Rivers State Assembly quarters. The Chief Judge, listed as the 32nd defendant, is to be served through judicial staff at his chambers. The matter has been adjourned to January 23, 2026, as the impeachment dispute moves fully into the courtroom. Now, prior to the court's ruling, members of the Rivers State House of Assembly are hardening their stance against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. During today's plenary, 25 Rivers lawmakers voted to proceed with the impeachment of Governor Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. At a session chaired by the Speaker, Martin Amewele, the Assembly called on the state's Chief Judge to set up a 7-man committee to investigate the governor and his deputy. The Assembly is accusing the governor of gross misconduct, spending state resources without approval, and abuse of office.
The Rivers State House of Assembly has resolved that investigations against allegations of gross misconduct leveled against His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, Governor of Rivers State, should proceed to the next level, which is investigation. And by virtue of Section 188, subsection 5, I will ensure that the resolution of this House is immediately communicated to the Chief Judge of Rivers State. We have resolved that the investigation against Her Excellency the Deputy Governor should commence, and that Mr. Speaker, in line with Section 188, subsection 5, will forward a letter to the Chief Judge of Rivers State calling on him to immediately set up a 7-man panel to begin investigations of these allegations against Her Excellency the Deputy Governor of Rivers State.
Still on the Rivers State Assembly crisis, our correspondent Charles Operum recaps events from the past week.
On Monday, 2 lawmakers, Honorable Silvanus Nwankwo and Honorable Peter Abbey, addressed the press, calling on members of the Rivers State House of Assembly to temper justice with mercy with regards to the impeachment of Governor Fubara. Barely 48 hours later, 2 other colleagues of theirs, Honorable Barile Nwako and Honorable Emilia Amadi of Kana and Obiakpo constituencies, toed the same path. Today is Friday. The Assembly have reconstituted their seating. They've arrived for sitting. But before that, what happened was the lawmakers gathered outside and addressed the press, saying they've tried to look for a political solution, but that the governor and his deputy are not accepting the olive branch which they have given to them, or they've extended to them rather. And as a result, they are vowing to go ahead with the impeachment. That happened outside. Not long after, the sitting started, and the House took 2 votes. The first vote was a vote to proceed to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against the governor. Out of the 26 people who attended plenary today, 25 voted in favor of investigating Governor Siminalayi Fubara, barring the Speaker, who was presiding over plenary. After that vote was taken, Another vote was taken to investigate the allegations leveled against the Deputy Governor, Professor Mma Odo, and 25 people again voted in favor. And so it seems like the Assembly have decided that they are going ahead with the impeachment processes against the governor. It remains to be seen how this is going to be taken by the governor's side. But going forward, all eyes will be on the Chief Judge to see what panel is constituted to look into the allegations. From the Rivers State House of Assembly, Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
Now to legal issues. An Economic and Financial Crimes Commission witness, David Ajuda, has told the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja that the Kogi State Internal Revenue Service paid over 1.16 billion naira as commission to a tax consultant within 8 months. Ajoda said the payments were made between January and August 2019, shortly after the consultant was engaged by the Kogi Tax Authority. He testified before Justice Mary Ann Anini during the ongoing corruption trial of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello and 2 others. According to the witness, about 952.4 million naira was withdrawn from the consultant's sterling bank account within the same period, leaving a balance of 212.5 million naira. He added that the withdrawals followed a similar pattern and were allegedly carried out by one Philip Unar. Under cross-examination, Ajoda admitted he had no knowledge of the details of the consultancy's agreement. He also confirmed that the consultant did not breach Central Bank of Nigeria withdrawal limits and that no suspicious transaction report was filed. The witness further acknowledged that neither Yahaya Bello nor his co-defendants featured in the bank records and that Kogi State's government is separate from the Internal Revenue Service. Justice Anini has adjourned further hearing to February 10. Staying with legal matters, the Supreme Court has ordered the continuation of the trial of former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, his 2 sons and others over an alleged 1.35 billion naira fraud, directing that the case proceeds before the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Apex Court gave the ruling in 2 unanimous judgments delivered by a 5-member panel. In its decision, the Supreme Court upheld the earlier ruling of the trial court, which dismissed the no-case submission filed by the defendants, holding that they have a case to answer. The judgment followed appeals filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, challenging the decision of the Court of Appeal. The Apex Court set aside the July 25, 2023 judgments of the Court of Appeal, which had struck out the 37-count charge on jurisdictional grounds. In the lead judgment, Justice Abubakar Umar affirmed the ruling of Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of the Federal High Court, which ordered Lamido and others to open their defense. The EFCC alleges that Lamido abused his office as governor between 2007 and 2015 by laundering funds received as kickbacks from companies that were awarded state contracts. Also charged in the case are his sons, Aminu and Mustafa Lamido, alongside Aminu Wada Abubakar and 2 companies, Bamania Holdings Limited and Speeds International Limited. The Supreme Court, in another matter, has also dismissed the appeal of Aminu Sule Lamido challenging the decision of the trial court, which convicted him for failing to declare $40,000 at an airport. In a unanimous decision, the Apex Court panel dismissed the appeal of the son of the former Jigawa State Governor for lacking in merit. Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, arrested Aminu on December 11, 2012 at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport while he was set to travel to Cairo, Egypt. The Lagos State Government Special Committee on Rehabilitation of Public Schools has confirmed the collapse of a bungalow classroom block at Odo Kekere High School in the Ikorodu area of the state. A statement issued in Lagos reveals that the classroom block, which collapsed on Thursday, had already been marked for demolition to pave way for the construction of a befitting classroom edifice that will accommodate the huge population of students in the school. The statement adds that no casualty was recorded at the building collapse.
Well, it's very unfortunate. We are just coming here now. I understand that some other agencies of the state are here. But getting here, we've had this information since yesterday that this bungalow collapsed. Unfortunately, I think it's one of these small bungalows that were done by the community as a palliative to reduce the congestion in the classrooms that they have. So, I mean, you can see that the other one there is not also looking so good. And what we're going to do, the state is going to ensure we quickly give them a new classroom book. Although we've been here last year to come and see the situation, and we promise doing something this year. So it's just that perhaps just have to start by next week to come and start doing the construction work. I mean, a new block for them. There's no There's no death. There's no casualty. No casualty. I think it's just like that one. It was just done by the community, like a shed supported by timber props. Now, I mean, it wasn't a properly built bungalow, it wasn't. But they've only done their best. So we can't tell them that what they've done is wrong. The state will never build this type of shed. But we will definitely put up a befitting structure for the school that would accommodate the entire community, the entire classrooms that we have.
We head over to Edo State, where the state government has advised young people to desist from being used as instruments of destruction by individuals who do not have their best interest at heart. Governor Monday Okwewolo gave the advice on Tuesday during an engagement with stakeholders and at the Ambrose Ali University Ekpoma students, following the release of 52 individuals detained in connection with Saturday's protest in Ekpoma. The governor also assured the gathering of the state government's commitment to ridding the state of crime, including kidnapping. Our correspondent Jessica Lugbosere has more on this story.
Government officials, Ambrose Ali University students and key stakeholders gathered at the Edo State Government House in Benin City Tuesday evening following the release of 52 individuals detained over Saturday's Ekpoma protest.
Thank you. Please be seated. Some of us still plead.
The president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, arriving from Abuja, praised Governor Okwewolo for prioritizing student welfare and fostering dialogue as a key approach to resolving conflicts.
And you still hear the pleas of people. Now these people are Edo indigene, they are your sons. While releasing some because they are student order, and you still deem it fit out of your large heart of humanity that they should bring everybody out. So I want to say thank you very much. These have really shown that you are a student-oriented governor.
The Minister of Youth Development highlighted the value of peaceful protests in a democracy, while cautioning against actions that could undermine national growth and development.
We must start seeing Nigerian first, Edo first, above any political party, even APC. If there is no Edo, if there is no Nigeria, there will be political parties. There will be influences. And nobody is saying that there shouldn't be a protest. Me, I like protests. I'm a product of protests.
Edo State Commissioner for Education, Padi Yamu, spotlighted Governor Okwewolo's transformative interventions in the state's education sector, with special attention to initiatives at Ambrose Ali University.
Irrespective of the way people have politicized the issue, they know that they didn't do well. We are molding them both in learning and in character. And it is not in our character as we teach them to go and loot, to go and steal while they protest. So, Your Excellency, this evening, we want to thank you again for having a large heart.
One of the arrested students, Reward Agbamuchi, was present at the meeting.
On behalf of the students, we are saying, God bless you, sir. You are a father.
Governor Okwewolo reaffirms that AAU and its students are precious to him, citing investments in the university's development since taking office.
Why did I give 500 million to the school? So that your school fees will reduce. Please stay out of trouble. Stay out of drugs. I'll continue to have contact with you through your president. Edo belongs to all of us. We have to work for Edo.
The government assured students and stakeholders that insecurity issues are being tackled as a high priority and advised students against being used as agents of destruction. Jessica Lugbosere, Channels Television News.
The federal government has restated a commitment to sustainable development, maintaining that humanitarian efforts can be achieved through collaboration, shared responsibility that strengthens communities. The director overseeing the office of the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Mr. Samson Ebimaro, stated this when he represented the minister, Mr. Abubakar Bagudu, during the launch of the Christian Aid West and Central Africa Cluster in Abuja. The cluster is a humanitarian intervention covering Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, Democratic Republic of Congo, amongst others.
This is the official unveiling of the Christian Aid Intervention for West and Central Africa, a strategic shift from single-country project to regional impact across borders. While Nigeria serves as the hub for the program, the position of the Christian Aid is to respond more effectively to crises, cross-border challenges, while strengthening value for communities.
From here, our collective effort will connect and support programs across the hub in priority countries like Burkina Faso, Burundi, Sierra Leone, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Nigeria itself, and have bird's eye view of raider countries like Ghana, Mali, Central African Republic, among others. This is not about centralization for its own sake. It's about stewardship. It's about accountability. It's about effectiveness.
As I was a Christian Aid, we will not just be delivering a project, we will be building accountable institutions, empowering communities, and contributing to a just, inclusive, resilient region.
The federal government is committing to work with humanitarian agencies to ensure sustainable development through collaboration, shared responsibility with locally grounded solutions that strengthen communities.
We believe that sustainable development can only be achieved through collaboration, shared responsibility, and locally grounded solutions that empowers communities and strengthens institutions. The establishment of this multi-country cluster offers a valuable platform to deepen regional cooperation, enhance program coherence, and amplify collective impact of partner organizations across borders.
The high point of the event is the unveiling of the intervention, which is focused on humanitarian response and poverty alleviation programs.
And now in the world of business, the National Bureau has been giving explanation on the revised inflation number released, which places December headline inflation at 15.15% after the recalculation of November inflation at 17.33%. The head of Department Prices and Trade Statistics, NBS, Dr. Ayo Anthony, who was a guest on Business Morning, defends the methodology used and says it is a global best practice.
There is no significant change in the methodology for computing the consumer price index. We are still using last payé method, we are still using Jevon, and we are still using short-term relative to calculate our consumer price index. The only thing is this: if you can remember that we rebase our CPI, we started a new series in January 2025, till present time. And for us to compute year-on-year inflation, you must have two-time period CPI. CPI for the current year and CPI for the preceding year. The preceding year I'm referring to is 2024. And mind you, 2024 CPI, they are all computed based on the old base year, which was 2009. Remember, we started the new CPI with 2024 base year, January 2025. Now, for us to come up with year-on-year inflation rate. Now, what is inflation rate? Inflation rate is the persistent increase in general price level. And how is this indicator gotten? It's gotten from two-time period consumer price index. For example, year-on-year inflation now is December 2025 CPI compared to December 2024 CPI. And I told you December 2024 to January 2024 were all based on 2009 base year. Now, as a statistical office, for us to get year-on-year inflation, we need to re-estimate the old 2024, bringing them into the future of the new base year. And to do this, there are two approaches. You either use a single-month index reference period or a 12-month index reference period.
Now, Nigeria imports 1.3 billion litres of petrol despite ongoing local production. And this is according to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. The authority says that while domestic refineries, including the Dangote refinery, continue to supply the market, local production is not yet sufficient to meet total demand, necessitating substantial imports. NMDPRA notes that the high import volume reflects steady petrol consumption across the country and efforts to maintain uninterrupted fuel supply. The regulator adds that imports remain crucial to bridging the gap between domestic production and national demand, ensuring stability in the downstream sector. The report underscores ongoing challenges in achieving self-sufficiency in petrol production, even as investments in local refining capacity increase. Nigeria's petrol consumption averages 63.7 million litres per day in December 2025, according to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. The authority says the high daily consumption reflects increased economic activity, festive travel, and continued reliance on petrol for transportation and power generation across the country. NMDPRA notes that the demand level remains consistent with recent monthly averages, highlighting the ongoing challenge of reducing fuel dependence despite efforts to boost local refining capacity. The regulator adds that stable supply from both local refineries and imports ensures uninterrupted availability of petrol, supporting economic and social activities nationwide. Nigeria misses its OPEC oil production quota in 9 of the 12 months. This is according to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) reports. According to the commission, the country's crude output falls short of its 1.5 million barrels per day quota for most of the year due to maintenance activities, operational challenges, and production disruptions in key oil fields. The NUPRC notes that Nigeria exceeded its OPEC quota only in January, June, and July, while outputs in the remaining months remained below the target. The shortfall highlights the persistent difficulties in meeting OPEC commitments despite ongoing investments in the upstream sector. The Commission says improving operational efficiency and addressing infrastructure challenges remain critical to ensuring consistent compliance with production quotas and enhancing revenue generation from the oil sector. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) of Nigeria has increased the minimum capital requirements for cryptocurrency exchanges operating in the country to 2 billion naira. The move is part of the regulator's ongoing efforts to strengthen the sector, enhance sector protection, and ensure financial stability. According to the SEC, the revised capital threshold applies to both existing and new digital assets exchanges, which will now be required to meet the new financial standards within a stipulated timeline. The measure aims to filter out undercapitalized operators and promote the growth of credible and resilient platforms in Nigeria's burgeoning crypto market. Oh, and that's where we'll drop the anchor on this edition of the News at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Up next is The World Today.